Meatcanyon is a YouTube cartoonist who puts out cartoons that are very gratuitous, very gory, most of the time very edgy, creepy, scary, based off of parodies and current events in the pop culture zeitgeist and basically current events that are happening in the world. I really enjoy most of them. Some of them are a little bit too gross for me, but I respect the hustle, the style, the animation. Animation on YouTube, people don't understand how difficult it is. It used to be the bee's knees. It used to be the moneymaker. Way back in the early YouTube days when videos could be shorter, you had a lot of new grounds, people moving over to YouTube, showing off their art. Back then, it was a gold mine. Now on YouTube, I mean, honestly, back in like 2010 is when it died for content creators who focus strictly on art and animation. There's a few people out there that still hustle and grind, but it's really tough is what I'm trying to say for animators, because it takes a lot more work to get an animated video done and out versus, you know, all these like, you know, podcasts and video game let's plays and stuff like that. So I definitely appreciate the art, the skill, the comedy of Meatcanyon's videos. Some of them push the boundaries and make me very uncomfortable, make me very icky, and I just get creeped out, but that's the point of his channel, and I'm not forced to watch it, so I think it's just really good content. Anyway, he just released the video, Hunter or Papa Meat, however you want to call him. He just released the video kind of explaining the future of that channel. Now, that channel was originally like his main channel where he got all his views and income and stuff like that. But he's done a secondary channel called Papa Meat, which I really enjoy. I watch Papa Meat all the time because it's a little bit easier production for him too. He can pump out more content, and I just think he's really funny. And it's like edgy YouTube, but like with today's like societal standards, if that makes sense. Like, he's not doing humor from like back in 2008 where he would get canceled today, but it's still edgy humor today for a lot of... Anyway, I'm kind of rambling. He was talking in his video, which you should definitely check out. I'll have it linked in the description below. He was talking about in the video and explaining the future of his channel because he doesn't feel like he's being pushed creatively, and he's not enjoying the content that he is creating because he feels like he's put himself under this pressure to always follow, like I said, the pop culture zeitgeist, the drama that's going on recently, current events, and so that puts him on a deadline because he needs to get everything out in time while it's still relevant, to get traction, to get trending on YouTube, to provide eyes and get, you know, views and money on it. And like I said, animation takes a while. You have to sketch it, you then have to obviously animate it, voiceover work, music if you need it. Like, it goes really hard and crazy for production, so you have to expedite that process even faster to get something out on time. And I think Meatcanyon and his team have done an excellent job of doing that throughout the years, but it's just for him personally, he's talking about how he's creatively deadlocked and he's not enjoying those types of cartoons. He is enjoying his monster cartoons and his Melvin cartoons, I believe they're called, and he's talking about leading more into those and taking more time into those projects so he's not pressuring himself to put stuff out more. And he's also focusing more on the Papa Meat channel as more of those like 3 to 4 uploads a week to keep that income going because it's been very successful. It's a little bit more variety content, but like I said, it's still under his brand of weird, zany, edgy humor. And once again, I can't say it enough, I really enjoy that content. So it just kind of got me thinking as he's talking about this, as someone who is a tiny, super small, minuscule, microscopic channel, someone who has only recently even got traction on this channel. Thank you so much if you are a subscriber watching this video, by the way. This channel blew up from 5 subs of all people that I know to around 100 subs just on my Mama Max video. If you haven't seen that, check that out. After you watch this video, after you watch Meatcanyon's video, watching Hunter, Meatcanyon, Papa Meat talk about his creative roadblocks and just how he's being unfulfilled really had me thinking about how I've been creatively unfulfilled in a lot of things, and just the YouTube landscape in general For those of you that are unaware, this is actually my third channel. I have OCDsaster, OCDsaster Blue, and OCDsaster Red. OCDsaster is the air quote biggest channel and the one that I've worked on the longest. OCDsaster Blue is like strictly like Sonic content, and this is OCDsaster Red, where I'm kind of like experimenting on what I'm doing. And it's very interesting because I've been doing this for a long time. It doesn't look like it because, once again, like very small. YouTube seems very safe, very branded, very structured in a way where if you go against the grain, unless your content is superb in production, or you get that random like streamer that's popular that watches your video and you just blow up one day, it's really hard to really grow on YouTube. Now, don't get me wrong, YouTube has expanded and evolved way further than it has a decade, 2 decades ago. Well, 2 decades ago, it didn't really even exist, but you get what I mean. The platform has evolved. When you first started on YouTube, it was a little bit easier to get views because it just started. Then Google acquired it, and it became even bigger than they ever thought. Then it was really hard to get noticed. Now, even though there's millions and millions of views being uploaded literally every minute, it has an algorithm, it has the tools to help people get recognized. So I definitely can appreciate that side of it. I'm not saying YouTube is worse at recommending videos and stuff like that, because let's be honest, like, none of my videos would get views at all if that were the case, but some of my views do get a decent amount, as long as I stick and play to the game. So technology has evolved so much, and we're very grateful for that, right? Or at least I'm very grateful for that, because back in the day, it was a lot harder to even upload video game footage. You needed $100-some just to get the proper setup, mics and all that kind of stuff were more expensive. Now things have become cheaper, more mainstream, but that makes it easier, but that makes the competition also more vast, and so many people trying to do the same thing. I'm gonna bring all this around to Papa Meat at the very end, so it might seem long-winded, but hopefully I can guide you through this, right? And just how his creative process, his deadlock made me think about it, and just how the YouTube ecosystem and landscape is right now in the present day. If you are not putting the proper tags, if you are not doing something that's relevant, if you are not covering something that is very like top of everyone's mind, you are probably going to slip through the cracks for a lot of different types of content. Now, there's a lot of variables with this. There's different subcategories of YouTube, cooking channels, stuff like that that might not really apply. I'm thinking more of like gaming channels, commentary channels, stuff like that. There's a through line that you kind of have to follow in 2023, 2024, where if you're not following that through line, unless you're like already a well-established YouTuber, your video is most likely just going to completely die and fall off to the side, right? Unless you get lucky, like I said earlier. Because with gaming, I'm going to stick with gaming just because that's the one I'm most familiar with. If you're not playing the most like recent game, or a game that still has like a lot of like content and stuff being put into it, unless you've already established a well enough audience that you know will have good retention and come back to your videos are going to die. I can guarantee you right now, if I made a video about, here, let me just look, Crash Bandicoot, I'll have those core people on my OCDsaster channel, like 20, 25 loyal viewers. They'll watch the video, but out of my 1,000 subs, it'll only be those 25 people. The rest will not see it. They will not touch it, either because they're dead subscribers, meaning they're not actually dead, but like they've just moved on from that channel in which they subscribed from, or it's not relevant to them. It's not that through line, which also goes to the consistency. It's not that brand that OCDsaster has become. My OCDsaster channel has become very Kingdom Hearts and Smash Bros oriented, and you can even look in my videos when I started to do variety gaming and do different types of games. Most of the time that viewership just tanked because people subscribe to OCDsaster for a certain type of video, a certain type of content, and when I moved too far away from that through line, I paid the price with no views, right? And that's where I'm kind of going at this, is views, because I love making content, I love creating, and That's what I strive for. And I know my friends and supporters are like, don't worry about the numbers, just do what you enjoy. But I enjoy making something valuable. I don't like wasting my time doing something that only a fraction of the people are going to see, especially if I work really hard on it and it gets nowhere. I know this sounds like complaining, and it is, but like, there's a lot of YouTube videos that I put in half the effort and time, and they blow up because they're relevant to topics and following that through line. And then there's a video that I spent months working on and so much time and energy, and like 5 people see it. And it's just really disheartening because that's the one you really wanted to see and to shine. And it's just really demoralizing and really makes you kind of sit there and think, like, what am I doing? Like, should I keep this going? Trends come and go, and I'm also getting older. I recognize that. So what I find as valuable content is evolving and changing. What I want to produce is evolving and changing, but the majority of people on YouTube is that 18 to 24 demographic. That's who they're trying to keep on the site because they're the ones that have the most time to be on the site. People my age, people entering their 30s, they're starting to settle down. They're starting to have kids. They're starting to do things that are more fulfilling for themselves. And they're not sitting there watching YouTube so much. And if they are, and I'm just saying this as myself because even I do this, I'm watching the top people that I watch. I'm watching Moist Critical. I'm watching, I don't really watch Ludwig anymore, but I used to watch Ludwig. Like I said, Meat Canyon, the big dogs. I'm not watching smaller, unestablished channels. Now, sometimes the recommendation algorithm works really well, and I get a smaller channel on a very niche topic that I might not normally watch, and I actually get intrigued and click on it. And that's when it's working great, and I think that needs to be improved for YouTube, but it's a lot better than it used to be. I actually give them huge kudos for that. But in the whole grand scheme of things, it's time. Is it worth sitting down and watching a 10-minute video of a creator that I don't really know that made a very, I don't know, it could be a great video, it could be a bad video. It's a coin flip. It's like if you're flipping through the radio, the percentage of the time that you're going to get a song that you like and enjoy is a lot lower than all the songs that you're going to be skipping through, and that's just more time being wasted, right? So I have 2 thumbnails. One is a really professional thumbnail from a creator that I know that has 4 million subs that I watch all the time. And the next thumbnail, I see that it's got 300 views. The thumbnail isn't perfect, but the title is very interesting. I then have to make a decision in my head. What am I going to do? Do I have enough time? Do I want to manage this in a certain way? And I'm getting really into that side of it, which I didn't really mean to, but I'm finding myself doing that more, and I think a lot of people are on YouTube. They're just weighing out their time, and with COVID being done and people getting back to their lives and trying to be more fulfilled with their lives, that time is getting cut back, so they're really only wanting to pick and choose what they want to watching it. And I'm just rambling about this because I just think YouTube wants people to stick to a mold. They want you to keep it in a certain bubble so that way they can keep filtering your videos out to the people that they want you to see. Like, they think that people would watch to keep them on the site. But if you stray too far from it, if you want to do a creative change, unless you're a well-established YouTuber, that could backfire, right? It's a really big risk because you're wasting all that time. Just Meat Canyon's video about him being creatively deadlocked. I'm wondering how many other creators like me are getting deadlocked. We're in the spot where YouTube is such a great platform to be recognized, to really show off your talents, but you have to still play by their rules and within their lines in order to even get a little bit noticed, if you're lucky. And it's just getting really frustrating because I really enjoy television, I really enjoy film, I enjoy acting, I like rock music, I like singing, even though I'm not good at it, so that would probably never actually see the light of day on a channel. But like, I want to experiment with these things, but I'm too scared to do it on my main channel because that could get people to dip off, or it could change the entire algorithm and it's just not going to recommend the right people to the channel to watch. So it's stuff like that people actually have to really think about. And I think it's really great what Meat Canyon was saying in his video about how he has kind of like that income-making channel, and then he has another channel where now he's going to kind of sit there and actually make stuff that he wants to make and really think about, conceptualize a craft and art that he wants. And he's fortunate enough that he is well established. So yeah, he might lose some people along the way with this new creative endeavor, but he still has a loyal fan base that is going to respect what he's doing, and I definitely respect what he's doing. And it's just it's an interesting concept, because it's like you want to do things that make you happy, but as a creative, if there's too many limitations, you get burnt out. I haven't posted an OCDsaster video in months. I like creating, but I also feel burnt out with staying on that line. And it's also, once again, time. Like, if I could sit there, buy a really fancy camera, do a really fancy stuff, if I had a lot of money, I could be a Mr. Beast clone. I could do these, like, I go everywhere and do everything, or I rank everything. I can't do that. I have a full-time job, right? I'm a normal working citizen. I have a life. I try to have a life. This is more of, like, fun on the side stuff. But it's not fun. It's not getting fun anymore, is what I'm saying. And I want to do more than just posting. And it's ironic, because I know how this video is going to be. It's me talking and then just putting video game footage on top of it. But like for my other channel, OCDsaster stuff, I'm not getting fulfilled with just like Let's Plays and videos like that. That era is gone. When I was younger, that was what everyone wanted to do, was Let's Plays, Let's Plays, Let's Plays. But as I got older, I realized, like, that's not really, you're not doing anything creative. Now, if you have good edits in there and you're funny and you're entertaining, that's different. But that opened a door way, like, a little bit back in, like, the 2010s, where people just thought that they could just put on the face cam and play a game and not actually provide entertainment, right? Or then the streaming landscape blew up and people thought they could just turn on the camera, play a video game, and everyone would just swarm in to their stream. It's not like that. It's a lot more complicated. There's a lot of social engineering. There's a lot of bravado you need to provide to the camera. It's a lot more work and effort, and people want to do the least amount of effort for the most amount of gains. That's what people want to do for the rest of life. That's our evolution. That's just our primitive nature, is if I can do the minimum to get the biggest returns, I'm going to do that. But YouTube's becoming so competitive with these big productions, these big companies, and I don't really know what the solution to that is. It would be great if YouTube had a competitor, but there's no way in hell it's going to happen. It's just a giga mammoth type of search engine with pairing with Google. There's no video service in the foreseeable future that's ever going to compete with YouTube on the video landscape. Not streaming, but straight video. So it's kind of like you got to play by the algorithm and their rules if you want to stay relevant, or you can take a big risk and just see what happens. And maybe I'm just a pussy. Maybe, like, just thinking about it and getting all this out, maybe I need to just take those risks and just be happy that I did something versus the result, the views. But I do want people to see it, and I do think there is a little bit of like a payoff. Like, how I visualize it is like, if I put 10 hours into a video, I would at least like to see like 100 views on it. That's kind of like how I measure it in my head, and maybe it's stupid of me to do that, but I don't know. That's just how my brain works. I want to try different things. I want to experiment, but I don't want to have to keep creating different channels to see how that works. I could definitely just not worry about YouTube and just move on with my life, but there is something about this that's entertaining for me, and I get that itch after a while, after a dry spell of not creating anything, to jump in and do something. So I really don't know where I'm at right now. I'm kind of in like an existential creative crisis. Kind of like, I don't really think meatcanyon was in that state. I think he was definitely in a challenging spot, but he had a way to work around it with the Pop-Up Meat channel. But like, for smaller creators, are you in this spot? If you're a smaller creator and you're watching, do you kind of relate to what I'm saying? This was a big ramble towards the end, but it was very therapeutic for me. Thank you if you made it this long. Also, comment down below if you did, because it's a 20-minute video. Holy shit. But, yeah, I don't know. Our attention spans are getting shorter, too. Shorts are getting pushed out, TikToks, all that stuff. I could go into a whole nother tangent on that. But all in all, I just really respect what Hunter Papa Meat Canyon said in his video, his transparency, his honesty about how he wants to go about things. I think it's great that he has that avenue in which he can do it. I'm fully supportive of it, even though that means nothing coming from me. But it just really got me thinking from my creative hiccups and stuff like that. Like, what do I want to be doing? And as the new year approaches, that's going to be something that I'm really going to have to grapple with. And hopefully something happens. Hopefully a spark comes off and I'm not creatively bankrupt anymore, or I get over this obsession with sticking with the through line. But only time will tell, right? Once again, thank you guys so much for supporting me. If you've been here through the whole long run, whether it's this channel, OCDsaster Blue, OCDsaster, you just clicked on this because you thought it was interesting. Let me know down below your thoughts on YouTube and how you see it going, the projection of it. Who are your favorite content creators? What do you watch? I'm just thinking about the trends, you know, like it used to be a big Minecraft space, but that died. Among Us space, that died. What are some other stuff? I mean, Mr. Beast is always killing it. Vlogs were a big thing back in the day. So like as the trends go and move through, part of being a successful YouTuber, unless you're well established, unless you're grandfathered in like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, like you have to like move with the tides. You have to be able to creatively change gears and shift things around in order to stay relevant, in order to gain new audiences. And that's a whole different beast that I don't think I'm ready for. But we'll just have to see, right? Anyway, I've gone on for too long. I'm OCDsaster. Thank you so much again. And see you in the next year. Bye.